down there. I don't know. Is Albert on here? Can you mute somebody? Somebody's talking that we can hear. You know, and how that works is that you might be able to get like a, I think, a loan to cost type of loan based on the renovated, redeveloped market value.
Okay, would I look for a lender local to the property or local to myself here? I'm in Seattle here.
Property.
Local to the property.
Right. The thing though is for any type of loan like that, if the building is vacant or not going to pay for that, then your personal income needs to carry it.
Okay.
So if you have to have room over and above like all your mortgage payment and everything else to cover any shortfall in a bridge loan type situation.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, which I think is cheaper money than hard money. The problem that you're going to run into is you got to pay real close attention probably to the term of the loan. Because if you don't get a long enough term for whatever you're trying to accomplish and release it or get it, you know, where you got income and stabilized so you can refinance it. You know, the best thing to do, like I said, is just talk to a local commercial lender, like a small bank, probably.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. What's going down? Who's here today? Brenda, Dante, what's up, brother? Dion, Jazz, Jenny, Kavita, Kevin, what's up, brother? Hey, Kevin, can you hear me?
Which Kevin?
Keven Ackerman.
Yes, I can.
So I remember Keith that you referred to me in Ballard.
Yeah.
I talked to him again yesterday. I've been talking to him on and off. And I said, hey, Keith, because he's dragged his feet. Good news. The value of your property's gone up by, I mean, literally much higher than we originally talked. And he emails me back and says, oh, man, I let it go for the 720. Was that you guys? He just left $100,000 on the table.
No, like we left them. Like we sent them your way, and we kind of left it there. But I guess
I communicated with him the entire time. I don't know, you know, he just didn't want to make time to deal with it, and he unfortunately, I was like, hey, let's go. You know, good news. You know, everything just went up for you, and he's like, oh, I just let it go. I'm like, geez, dude, God, yeah, stupid. 100,000. He said, oh, this person needed a break. I'm like, well, good on you. At least there's people out there in the world that are looking to give people breaks, because he just left $100,000 on the table. But anyways, yeah, craziness. Curious, Kevin, sorry guys, I'm just talking to talk here. Are you guys seeing a pickup in activity, or are you guys about even? I'm just wondering if world craziness is it anybody more interested in selling their deferred maintenance type properties, or do you just think you have your marketing out there is the reason why you guys are getting more deals? What do you think it is?
I mean, I've definitely seen a pickup in like certain areas, like Tacoma. We've been getting a lot of Tacoma recently. I don't know if like the geography of it has much to do with like the distress situations or whatnot. But we've definitely seen a pickup there. In terms of like people being in distress situations, not that much. A lot of people are just like checking in because they're curious about the company or curious about what their home is worth.
Right.
And we redirect them and say, hey, you know, we're probably not the platform for you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
10-4. Okay. You think it's coming off? Are you guys, well, I'll ask you about all that later. It's good stuff. Kevin's with Sundae, everybody. If you haven't checked out Sundae yet, it's kind of a off-market MLS for investors. I'll let him explain it himself. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, in short, we're pretty much an off-market property platform for you guys. So we try to make it a little bit easier for you to find your properties. In everything that you see on our platform, we've got inspection reports, pictures, Matterport, So we try to make it as easy on you as possible to do your due diligence on the platform. And then just make it super easy to submit your offers in as well. So if you guys are looking for properties, right now we're getting a lot of Tacoma, to be honest. So if you're looking in Tacoma, feel free to sign up, hit me up, and then I'll get you guys taken care of.
And you think, Kevin, are they flips or are they buy and hold priced or a mix?
There's a mix, but I will say most of them are more of a flip price, just because the sellers want, I guess, top dollar and they love fix and flip. So yeah, we do come across the occasional one that's like willing to let it go for a lot less, but yeah, for the most part, fix and flips is the main.
You want to drop how people can reach you to get access to Sundae in the chat?
Yes, actually, let me.
Sweet. Good stuff. What else is going on, everybody? Anybody have any questions this week while we get rolling here? We got a good discussion. Dion, you're in the middle of that one over on WARI. I'm watching about interest rates and, you know, when's that gonna change the market for, you know, prices gonna go down. Little debate going on there. You know, that one guy that responded, Dion, I was like, who's that? That's a response, man. He's like a Wharton School of Business guy. It's a good thread.
I think that's Albert Bowie. He comments on a lot of stuff. He's actually been in this.
No, not Albert, the other guy. I know. I mean, not.
Oh, I missed the other one then.
Yeah, no, it's somebody that responded to Albert's question. So guys, if you go check in, if you're not a member of Washington Real Estate Investing on Facebook, you want to check it out. Not only is it entertaining for some of the craziness that goes on, but you know, it's the larger, I would say, Facebook community. I'm sure you're all well aware of it by now, but just if you're not, go check it out. Go check it out. What else is going on this week? Anybody? Kavita, I don't know you. Can you, what's up?
Yeah, hi there. I just wanted to introduce myself. This is my first time here. I
Well,
joined the
welcome.
Meetup group recently and wanted to see what's the format of these meetings. I am not really new to investing, but not very seasoned either. Looking forward to investing in the Seattle area. I have some investments in Texas.
All right. Are they apartments or houses?
I have a couple of houses, a multifamily unit. I want to do some flipping and want to learn more, network more. That's why I wanted to join here.
Excellent. And are you a broker or do you have a
Nope,
day job?
just an investor.
Just an investor. Good stuff. So yeah, well, welcome. A great place to go find those deals to get started would be there with Kevin at Sundae. That's one way to do it, of course. And then make sure you join Washington Real Estate Investing as well as Seattle Investors Club if you haven't already on Facebook, and you'll start to see who's, you know, wholesaling deals and stuff like that. Opportunities there.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you so much.
And we're here every week for any questions that you have. Whoops, I just lost my stuff here. You guys hear me?
Yep, I do.
Hmm.
We don't see you though.
Okay, I'll try and fix that. Well, what else is going on, guys? Does anybody have any questions this week? So our format here is basically, it's just an open discussion, and somehow by the grace of God, every week we seem to have one and it goes somewhere and we have a good discussion. We get resources shared and deals shared and all kinds of stuff. So does anybody need any help this week while I sit here and figure out how to get back on the camera?
Julie?
Yeah.
Hey, Julie, could I ask Dion a question?
Go for it.
Hey, Dion, I have a rental. Tenant is a Section 8 from Haskell. Great lady. I mean, she's pretty much disabled. So, I mean, if she doesn't live here, I think they're gonna send her to like Mount Vernon and school district and all that. I spoke with them a couple of times. She's paying about, I would say, at least $800 below market. But Haskell does not play ball at all. As far as raising rent, they allow like 40, 50 bucks a year, and that was 2 years ago. How do you deal with that?
So you use the term Haskell. Is that some kind of nonprofit that runs the housing or
That's
the
correct,
voucher
yeah.
program in your area?
Yes, that's the Section 8 people.
So the section, so in the 2 counties I'm in, they're called the Housing Authority. So they might, in some areas, it is a nonprofit. So it really depends on your county. I will not own a Section 8 rental in Pierce County, Washington. I'm not going to flip you guys off, but if there was any of them here, I would be flipping them off. But Thurston County, I love them. They are amazing. And they did tell me one time, the most we can pay for your 3-bedroom is, I think it was like $1,650. And I said, well, here's all the 3 bedrooms off of apartments.com and Zillow and Redfin that are going for $2,200. And they said, oh, well, we'll raise it to, and we almost got to $2,200. I had to do the work. I had to give that person in that position the data that they could show their employee, their boss, here's why we made the adjustment to this rental. So if you just reach out and say, hey, I think you guys are a bunch of, a large amount below the area average, they're probably going to say, well, that's what we pay. But if you provide them screenshots of rentals of the same number of units, and remember, Housing Authority only cares about unit count. They don't care about garage. They don't care about den, family room, pool, or anything like that. None of that matters. It's just bedroom count. If you can provide similar asset types, so if you have a duplex, don't send single family houses. If you have a single family house, don't send a trailer in a mobile home park. But similar, with the same number of bedroom counts, of what the area average rents are, you have a better chance of getting that person to even say, this is what our website says we'll pay, but you've shown us the current area average. And they're probably not going to go all the way to it, but they got really close. So unless you want to do the work for them, they're not going to take the time to figure out what the real area average is. They've got some chart, probably from a federal agency, that's a couple of years old that they're going off of.
So what I have done the last couple of years is I was going to do pretty much similar to that, not that detailed, but the caseworker that supposedly is the one that mediator between me and my tenant does not even want to hear from me. She said, send it to me. Here's the form. Here's the link. And the committee will say yes or no.
And you send it a letter and on your company letterhead, which is your name at the top if you want, saying, we're terminating the lease at the end of this cycle because of, and you list out some reasons, unless you're willing to talk to me. You get on their radar that something's going to change unless they communicate with you.
I never thought of it being that harsh, but yeah.
So you're dealing with the person in an office. You're not dealing with the person in the house. The tenant will understand. And when the rent at my 3-bedroom went up about $400 and something, the portion my tenant paid went down because they reevaluated current income. So it's not always a bad thing for your tenant if your rent's going to go up with Section 8. Sometimes when they reassess everything, it could be the same or even a better rate for the tenant. But that person is just sitting in an office and you're just a file on the desk. Just be literally blunt. If you won't talk to me, I'm going to not renew the lease with this tenant. You have to know your local area, what rules exist in that area, and if you're allowed to or not. So I'm not saying don't renew the lease, because you have to make sure that there's some areas where you can't without cause, unless you're going to move in or rehab or whatever. Some places you can just not renew, but you can send an email to that agency saying your intent is to not renew unless they communicate with you. And I would be extremely blunt because it's just an office worker.
Got it. Thank you, Dion.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Just curious, why do you feel that you need to be a slave to the housing Section 8? Why not just have a market rate tenant in there? Or is the market rate close to what, well, obviously not what you're getting? Why are you stuck in that?
Well,
or why do you want to stay in that?
Well, she's disabled.
Okay.
And I just don't have the heart of moving them out, and then kids gonna have to change school district and going, throwing her out.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I know
Well,
it does make logical sense or financial sense. It's just I don't have the heart to do it.
Oh, you're a good guy. Look at this. I don't know. We got a bunch of. Maybe this is going to be the feel good one today. Good for you.
I know that it's not a charity program for sure, but it's still that's $800 a month. So I'm coming closer to the end of my bleeding heart.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at.
Get partially there. Good for you, though. Good answer. What else is going on, everybody? Do you have any more questions, Thomas? You
No,
guys
ma'am,
feel
I'm
free
good.
to speak up. I'm just sitting here with the moderator, nothing else really. So if anybody has any questions, don't be shy. Let's get it out there. A little collective genius of the group help solve it for you. Anybody got anything? Anybody need anything?
I have a question or a
Go for it.
commercial lending issue that I've run into recently. So I have a 6-unit in Spokane that I was just working on refinancing, and the lender was just about to order like closing docs, and at the last minute they said that there was like an environmental flag on the building due to there being like a dry cleaner that used to operate like over 40 years ago across the street, and so they are saying we now need to have a phase 1 environmental done. Is that like common? Has anyone else in commercial run into that? Do we just kind of like proceed and go ahead and get the study done, or are there any other options or pushback at this point?
Does anybody have a response to that? I believe that on commercial it is common. I don't know if there's a workaround, but for me, I've only experienced that in much larger commercial properties where we had, pretty much to do a phase 1. I think almost, I don't even remember if it was like par for the course, but definitely if there's a dry cleaner, that is, I would say, not unheard of and slightly expected in my experience. They want you to pay for that. How much the cost on that? About $4,000 or
$2,400.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you might ask some of the neighboring properties if they've had to, deal with that on any of their financing. But, I don't think you're going to probably be able to get around it with that lender. Right. So it's just money. It just cost you money. Who knows if there's something that comes up, but what kind of loan do you have on there right now? Do you have a loan?
Yeah, we have a loan. We're refinancing with our current lender, Gisa Credit Union. And we got the original loan with them, and originally our loan was under 500,000. And then they said this time we're refinancing for higher than that, which is what they said kind of kicks off like this an extra environmental check. And that's where we kind of ran into like the flag on the dry cleaner.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that you can either call different lenders, right? I guess I'm less worried about the fact that you're going to have one on the fact of what happens if it comes back dirty. Then I guess it's the responsibility of the other property owner. What's there now?
It's like I don't know if it's in use, but it says it's like an acupuncture office. It's like a little small commercial building across the street from ours, and everything else around us is residential.
Yeah. You could call some other lenders, but I don't think it's abnormal for them to request that. I don't know about it that low of a loan amount, but I do think it's a thing at some point. I don't know what the trigger is.
Gotcha. Okay, that's good to know. It's the first time we've run into that.
I would call just a few other lenders and ask them, just so you know, what the answer is on that. You're not married to that lender, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay,
But,
thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
Yep. Yeah, I do believe that's a thing. So anybody else had any experience with that? Ever had to deal with that? No? All right. Well, let us know how that turns out. Curious. What else? Anybody else got anything? Anybody? We're talking about interest rates going up. Should we might as well kick off that discussion?
I was curious about that too. I was just going to bring that up. Yeah. I mean, I can't really comment on it, but if anybody else can.
Yeah, I think, well, there's a debate going on over Wari. I don't know if we have any lenders on here today. I don't see anybody who's a lender here today. They're too busy trying to rewrite all their files probably because rates
Right.
just went up. What, they went up 1/4 point, right? Or that's what the Fed raised rates. So there's a debate. I think Dion was on that thread over there about when is it, like in 2018, we had a stall in the market where buyers just basically sat on the sidelines for a minute there and prices dropped like 10%, as I recall, during that time, because there was some interest rate hikes that happened. And I think the debate is, well, when are prices going to come down based on interest rates? And then there's, I know Dion, you want to jump in on this one and talk about the debate. I was thinking, this guy says, well, as I think that prices could come down at a higher price point, but anything below, like we said, 1.1 or something like that, I don't think will get impacted too much, in my opinion, because I think people just move down what they're going to buy. It's the higher priced properties that seem like they might have an impact potentially, because the stock market is so down, and all these tech guys, like Albert said, using the RSUs to buy properties and stuff. But there's so much money out there right now. What do you think, Dion?
I wasn't sure you wanted me to comment on it because I have a contrarian view, which is going to irritate people that have, they're digging their heels in on that's how, rates and prices work, and they're not related.
Preach it, brother. Go for it.
Okay, as long as you don't mind, I'm probably going to trigger somebody.
Yeah, no, I don't. We love it.
The last time interest rates almost doubled was in the 1970s. Home prices almost tripled. Rates going up does not mean prices coming down. The math says if it goes up 1% and the price decreases 10%, your payment's about the same. So a lot of content creators, which ends up being where people get their news from, are saying if interest rates go up, here's why the prices are going to come down. And so normally when we have inflation, the Fed's tool to combat it is to raise rates to slow down inflation. But the problem we have in the last 2 years, this inflation is not caused by cheap money. Low rates is not why we have all of this demand. We have record wage inflation, and wages set prices. Home buyer buys based on what they can pay every month. Investor buys on what their yield is going to be. So as wages increase, rents go up. As wages increase, what people will pay will go up. We're now going from a 30-year loan product to a 40-year loan product. We have Bank of America has a $17,000 first-time home buyer program where they'll put that much money towards the down payment. So prices are going to continue to go up. The rates went up 0.25%, and a bunch of economists are saying, well, if we'd gone up 0.5 or 0.75, then we might shock the economy. But it's not rates. Rates aren't impacting prices. Rents and what someone can pay are going up because of record wage inflations. Entry-level drivers in 2018 would start off at $70,000 a year. Now a local entry-level, just graduated school last week, is starting out over 90. So that's just driving. I run a nonprofit that does job placement assistance, and we have people who took an 8-week IT course and are expecting $75,000 entry-level wages with an 8-week course. People had to be bribed to come off of unemployment. We had unemployment, extra unemployment, extended unemployment, stimulus. In Washington State in 2020, people were making $75,000 a year on unemployment to sit on their couch. So we've got all this wage increase. We raised FHA limits and nationwide. So in some counties, it went up to $1 million you could buy a new house for. Even if rates go up, prices are going to continue to increase. And so I see a lot of investors saying things like, I'm going to wait to buy in the crash or the dip, which totally makes sense. I've seen some other investors saying, I'm going to sell my house and then rent for 2 years and then buy when prices come down, until they realize what's happened to rents, and that rents are 30% higher than what they were paying for their mortgage. So that's my viewpoint, is we don't have any of the reasons that people claim prices are going to come down, because there's only one thing on the whole planet that makes the home price come down. It's It's come down. It's not rates, rents, wages. It's nothing except days on market. No one is going to say, rates went up, I better lower my price by $50,000. They're going to say, my house has been listed for 6 months, maybe my price is off. Because right now, what do we have? 60 to 80 days on market 3-4 years ago, and now we're down to like 17 days on market as a national average. That's going to have to increase to 30 or 40 days on market before we see price corrections. So in 2022, we're not going to see a dip at all. We might see a slowdown, less transactions. So anybody in the lending or an agent that's working with buyers, they probably need to develop a side hustle. But as an investor, giving advice to other investors, or what recommendations on what I would do, the longer you wait to buy, the more it's going to cost you. And if you ever had a property you wanted to sell because of, we say low supply, but there's more transactions happening in 2021 than there was in 2020. And we're still breaking the 6 million. We're on track to still do that again this year. We don't have a supply issue as much as we have an increased demand issue. Like you said, everybody has money. There's all this money out there. People are looking for a place to deploy it. And now I'm done talking because you gave me the mic and you know I can talk forever.
No worries. No, we like it. Anybody want to comment or add into what Dion has espoused to us? It's all good stuff. It's a good debate. I think me personally, I agree, but I think I hear what you're saying. I think I always like to segment things out, right? I think that, like you were talking about, people making 75 or 90 grand out of school, that can only afford X, right? So here locally though, right? Like the buyers who are here locally are more like the tech buyers, right? Using like, and locally here, nationally, I'm probably not paying attention as much because I'm not investing out of market and all this other stuff, but I can see, what are the leading indicator markets for us when things start to turn? Is that Florida? Do you know?
I think it changed in the last 2 years because before 2020, it was where people were moving for work or retirement. Now we have more opportunity to work from home. Kids are homeschooled. So people are moving to places like people who needed to be near Seattle can live in Pierce and Thurston County. So the demand increase is because people don't have to live close to work. So I don't know that we have like a data metrics to use to say what are going to be the leading indicators. An example is Las Vegas. In 2020, everybody said Las Vegas is a service industry. The service industry is shut down, so Vegas is going to crash. 24% appreciation 2 years in a row. Like, what's traditionally been the things we can use to predict, to grab the crystal ball, which when you drop it breaks your floor, by the way. We don't have that now. So I'm right back to people have cash. They need to figure out how to deploy.
Yeah. My sense is there will be something that impacts maybe the higher stuff. Like I said, I don't know. We'll see. I agree. I think that, when we look at history, the problem today is that information flows so quickly, so instantaneously. It feels like everything changes on a dime. Like there's no warning. It just all of a sudden, boom, just is one day there's a change. So it'll be interesting to see how things play out here. I definitely think the stock market crashing like this is going to be impactful for local buyers here. The stock market being down.
I have to say, I agree with Dion that it has to be investment property that's driving it all, because for a long time now, we've heard just the news, the media saying that inventory is down, and buyers are up. Well, if buyers are up, and if it's not investment buyers, then presumably you're selling something to buy something, unless you're a first timer. So I haven't heard anyone saying, well, because buyers are moving because of remote work, that there has to be some place where property prices are down, and I just haven't heard that. So they're all saying so many buyers, so few properties. And if buyers aren't selling, then there's all these buyers got to be coming from someplace, and it's got to be investors.
There you go.
Well,
Anybody else?
investors, and we have a slow growth because of, supply chain issues have made it not worth building. And builders are building the $700,000 and $800,000 properties instead of the 200 to 300 because of the profit margin is just not there for the entry level home. So we don't have building. And some people will say population growth is slower than it has been in the past. It is slower, but it's still growth. We have population growth and we don't have supply growth. So we're going to continue to see increased demand and not enough supply.
My dog and my cat are sitting right next to me and they are about to get in a fight. I'm just watching them. Sorry, guys. Little side note. Look, you see they are right there. They're about to get in a fight. Nice. Sorry, guys, sidetracked there. Well, good stuff. It's going to be, I don't know what's happening here. Very interesting times that we're in. That's for sure.
Yeah, that tends to be the story with all the real estate agents that I've been talking to find my deal, is that there's just not much available. So that's the challenge as investors, right? Is being more creative to, I guess, find those deals, right? It's kind of the state of
I mean, the deals are out there. I think, like the deals are out there. Look at Kevin's company, Sundae. They get or look at Victor Rybachev. Those guys are getting deals all the time. I think the deals are there. I think the people just don't know how to go source those deals, or communicate effectively for those deals. But the deals are always there, I think, is the problem. But anyways, well, what else is going on, guys? We're a little
you mentioned, sorry, Julia, you mentioned Keven. Is that Keven on the line here? Ackerman? Hey, Keven.
Yep.
Let's connect, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I'll throw my contact info in here as well if you guys want to reach out.
Sounds good. Thanks.
My cat is attacking you guys. This is hilarious. All right. What else is going on? Who else can I pick on here? Holly, what's going on with you?
Yeah, I have a off-market seller in Gig Harbor with a duplex. It's kind of by the water, 3-bedroom each side. Nice building. So they're looking at $850 for the duplex. And then the seller also has a couple other homes that he's looking to sell. Ideally, if someone's looking for a 1031 exchange. One's in Gig Harbor, another's in University Place and Puyallup.
Are these investment properties that he or his investment properties?
Yes.
And he doesn't
Yes.
want to, is there upside in these properties, or are they just, he wants full price?
He wants a good price for all of them. He said for all of the homes, he's thinking it's about $3 million for it. I haven't done numbers on all of it. I was trying to work on the duplex for a client of mine. However, they decided that was going to be out of their budget. So there is an upside to the duplex.
There's an upside to there's always the opportunity. I would say call, I would talk to Holly's on my team, guys, talk to the Team Ren people, since they're down that way as well. But remember, you guys all might be able to work with Keven if you come across properties that you don't have a buyer for, and introduce that buyer to Sundae, or that seller to Sundae. If, I don't know if that's something, Keven, that you guys do with everybody, or, some sort of anything with a referrer type person or not. But
So we do have referral fees that we pay for any lead that you guys bring us. So we have a 7% fee that we charge, and we would pay you 25% of that. So just as an FYI, if you have a property that you can't really place, and you think you might want to refer that out, we can always give it a shot in our platform. And if it does transact, we do pay a 25% fee.
You guys raise your fee to raise it to 7% from 5%?
It It's not like set at 7%. We only change that if we really, really have to for like the deal to work, but it's always been 7 and then have to like move it.
Adjust.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So that means the buyer, guys, is paying that 7% that, or 5 to 7% that Kevin's talking about when they make an offer on Sunday.
Mhm.
That's not the seller. The buyer is paying that, kind of like a wholesale deal, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Right. Cool. What else is happening here? Let's see. Anybody else have any questions today? Or want to say anything or bring up anything to discuss? Anything? If you guys don't have anything to talk about, I'm gonna get back to work and we'll circle up next time. Anybody have anything? I'm gonna say going once. What time is it? 12:07. It's early. Early in the day. I don't really have any great topics to, nobody's needs anything. Yoshi, how are you doing on your deal?
We didn't get it, so keep looking.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, for you guys might want to jump onto Sunday, you and your partner or whoever you ended up or whatever you're going to do there, and get access to Kevin's off-market deals. Kevin, this is your day. Just going to hook Kevin up all day today. I think he posted his contact in the chat, and you should check into Sunday for access to the
Oh, yeah.
deal.
Yeah, I think Yoshimura. Yeah, we've connected, I believe, on Sunday.
Good.
Yeah, it's in my inbox.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Anybody have any other questions today?
Hey, Julie.
Yeah.
I'll jump- Hey, so I'm working on remodeling the second co-living house, and it's almost done, but I'm doing kind of like a two-phase. So I got the first part done. The second one, I'm still waiting for permits for interior remodel. And I have that going on. Then my ADU for the first house is approved. Is going to be approved soon. Just one last thing. And then also doing another one for the second house. An ADU for the second house. That's pending. That's just starting. But how would I structure private money? I have a friend that just has money sitting on their bank, and I can build the ADU, probably rent it out for $1,900 a month, and very easily I can pay out 8%, 9, 10, whatever, probably less, but to that person. So how would I kind of legally or think about structuring that?
Structuring private money so to help you pay for the build?
Yes. I mean, I kind of understand the terms and what I would offer or what I would get, but more in the just the actual, what documents do I create? Do I do collateral against the property legally?
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone has experience.
Yeah, I think you need a promissory note and a deed of trust, right? And
oh, you cut off there.
can you hear me, Dante?
Yep. Now you cut off for a second.
I think you need a promissory note and a deed of trust. I definitely have an attorney do it for you, because then if you do it the right way one time, you can reuse that going forward, right? And then, I think the question becomes how much equity you have in the properties. And, if you have a loan in first lien position, that private money lender has to go in second position, which is a riskier spot, right? So then they might be interested in what your loan to value is with their money in there, and if it's maxing out or not. So you could, maybe cross collateralize it over maybe the two properties, if that makes more sense to them, to keep the loan to value lower so they're safer, if you felt like that was a selling point. But I definitely think you need a promissory note, deed of trust, and some people might try and ask you for a personal guarantee, but you probably, if it's just your buddy, you could probably get away not with doing that, even though I'm sure you don't want to burn your buddy. But it shouldn't be that expensive at all to have that type of document drawn up. Those are pretty standard documents.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I do have equity, and I'm looking to do a high
LTV HELOC, so I can get more than I would with just a refinance. But if that doesn't work out, I'll do a refinance. But both of those, I'm still a couple months out to doing those. So this is just kind of an in-between option, or just kind of opening up with the idea of I can just move forward with this kind of structure.
So you're just looking at it for like a gap funding until you're able to refinance them out?
Yep.
Right. Right. Gotcha. So, you know, me personally, I wouldn't want to make like a short term. I'd want, you know, like points or something like that if I was going to give a short term loan, because what's the point of going through the process of, you know, if you're not going to make any money off some little short term loan.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, that's an option. I prefer to take it long term. There's other things that I have lined up. So
Yeah.
that's just an option to give if they feel easier about doing that. Then there's a quick.
You know what you should talk to the attorney about is adding a clause into that has a substitution of collateral clause. And so I'm not an attorney, but if you added a substitution of collateral clause into your promissory note or your stuff like that, you might be able to just, without returning the money, roll it, you know, and apply it from one property to another with proper notification and approval of your investor or your private lender. But that's kind of a ninja term that's, you know, that you should ask somebody about. And if you're talking to an attorney says, I don't know what you're talking about, you should call a different attorney.
That's a good marker. Okay.
There you go. Right. What do you guys think? Anybody have anything to add? Anybody borrowed any private money? La-di-da. Pretty straightforward stuff, I think. Here's a question though, to ask your lenders or whatever, if you record a private money second, right? I don't know, you know, if your first loans allow that, you know, so that's something to know about and to maybe do a little more research on there. I doubt anybody's going to do anything about it. But again, I'm not an attorney. The other thing is if it gets recorded and you're going to go for financing of, let's say, the other house, and there now you have more debt that affects your DTI.
Yeah.
So you need to plan it, right? Potentially, so it doesn't mess up. So what you're trying to do on one doesn't slow you down on the other or the rest of your portfolio.
Yeah, and that was the mentality, is the HELOC and the refinance would affect my DTI. So maybe I was thinking probably might could get around that. But if we're doing it fully recording and whatnot, then it's going to be something similar, I think. Well, it's for me to explore, but likely.
Yeah, look into it. I don't know. I mean, if I was I don't know how much money you're talking about, but I would probably, you know, want it recorded if I was the investor, if I was your private money person, but stuff to think about. Cool. What else? I don't know if we answered your question, but.
No, you did. Thank you.
Cool. Anybody else got anything today?
Julie, how's your West Seattle deal, your commercial deal coming along?
Coming along, actually. I'm actually gonna be listing it. I'm not buying it. And just got the green light yesterday, so we're probably a couple of weeks out on that. Main thing I've been trying to work on is, I mean, I would love to buy it. It's very expensive and capital intensive. I mean, there's like $500,000 of renovation, and, you know, somebody's going to buy it under 4%, you know, cash flow to get started. And then long-term, it's a great return because there's a big penthouse with a view and all this stuff and some huge rent upside there when somebody renovates the units. But it's in Seattle, which is going to take years to get done, probably at least 2 years. And the owner lives in the penthouse, and she needs to stay there after closing for a while. And so that impacts holding and all that other stuff. But my main thing was trying to figure out what kind of loan could go on this place. And, to make sure that not only I know for my own investing purposes, because who knows, anything could happen, right? If it doesn't sell, easily at this high price, maybe there is an opportunity for me to then step in with a partner and buy it. I could buy it, but it would just suck up too much of my capital and, not something I want to do at this time. So what I discovered was that a potential loan is a bridge loan, right? And so the bridge loan, as I was telling somebody earlier, would be that you borrow off of, as long as you're, within, we'll say 75% of the future value, and the loan that you get initially is below, within that loan to value, you might be able to get a bridge loan that includes, a good chunk of the renovation money and get a, 75% loan to cost on the total costs, as long as that loan stays below 75% of the loan to value of the stabilized value of the property, right? So what that means is that instead of having to put 50% down, you might be able to put 30% or a little bit less down of the total costs of the property. Otherwise, if you're going off of a debt service coverage modeling of the loan, you have to put like 50% down, which is, in this case, $1 million or more. So it's a big difference to be able, but with the bridge loan, it's not, the payment won't be covered fully by the debt service by what's available by the cash flow. So the borrower, the buyer, has to carry the difference on their own. So you have to have enough room in your own DTI to cover the shortfall of the bridge loan, because the payment even at interest only 5.5% or something like that is going to be higher annually than the current cash flow. So you have to make up the difference personally. So it really takes the right buyer. Do you get what I'm saying? See, somebody can pay cash, somebody can put 50% down, or somebody can come at it with a loan and, a bridge loan, but then they just have to probably have some room on their personal income side to carry it during the term, which might be 2 years as it's renovated. Guys, make sense to you guys? Talking about commercial loan, right? Good to know when you're going to buy, if you have room in your DTI, if you guys have room, then, you can go buy properties with these bridge loans, I think, and put significantly less down. Might be required to put 10% down minimum or something like that. Interest rate is probably closer to 6% or something like that. Interest only during the term. And then you refinance out. You're just buying good cash flowing properties, Dion. So you've never attempted bridge loan stuff. You're not really you're not renovating properties. You're just buying properties that have room in the rent, that cash flow, right?
Way too lazy. Never even done a rehab.
Yeah. Love you, brother. It's still working though. Works just fine, doesn't it? Works just fine. So that's a good product though, for those of you that are interested in that.
Who's the bridge lender that you're working with? Or
you can talk to like Pacific Crest Bank, but you want to talk to a local. If you're in Spokane, I would go to a small community bank or commercial lending bank over there.
That's what I was curious about too. Like, does it need to be local, or is it a loan officer or company that can work nationally?
I think local is probably better, or at least the same state. Like you might try, I don't know if Pacific Crest has a Spokane office, but you might try them.
Cool.
Beth Johnson's gonna, if you're in Eastern Washington, Beth's gonna have over at Flynn Family Lending, she's gonna have a bunch of resources. They buy a lot over like in the Wenatchee and stuff area, I think. She's a great resource for that. And they host their office hours, you know. You guys ever see that? Flynn Family Lending hosting their office hours? That's someone you want to go to. You want to go to one of those where you get in front of, you know, Matt Flynn or Beth Johnson or somebody like Augustus Bukowski. Those are worth going to. That's a wealth of information right there. What else? Anybody else got anything? Anybody else?
Hey, Julie, I just posted a question in the chat asking, since Dante had brought up the ADU, if anybody happens to have any experience working with any good builders. I'm in planning phase right now.
You're in the planning phase. Where's the property?
Pierce County.
I personally don't know anybody in Pierce County because I'm in Seattle for that, but I am sure if you posted something like that on Seattle Investors Club or WARI, you're going to get a lot of people raising their hands on that.
Okay.
Or maybe, you know, just post on there who's building a dadu in Pierce County and then circle up with them.
Okay.
I don't know personally because I don't hang too much in Pierce County. Anybody else here know the answer? No? There you go. Well, let us know if you find out.
All right, thanks.
All right, guys. Anybody else, or I'm going to call it today. Time is it? 22, 23 after? Anybody got any final thoughts today? Thanks for coming as usual. This is all recorded, you know, all of our past, if you ever miss ones, if you're a member of Seattle Investors Club, it's $220 a year, and all these weekly meetings get recorded. It's good listening and probably worth listening, you know, if you're somebody that gets stuck in the car, you know, or while you're cooking dinner or something like that. We usually have some good stuff going on.
Hey, Julie, I got a quick question. Do you guys plan on doing any in-person meetups?
You know, the answer to me is no.
Yeah.
I plan because I would rather let somebody else. That's a major commitment, you know, on my part to be doing that.
Sure.
Well, I guess, you know, technically we could do it once a month. I mean, I might change my mind on that, but I feel like there's so many meetups that this is my thing. This is what's easy for me. And I have to be selfish with my time. I got kids and all that other stuff. And,
Sure. Yeah.
you know, and I think, you know, it's easy for people to jump on here. I agree that the in-person stuff is definitely necessary and good to go. That's why I'm encouraging you guys to go to specifically the lending. When Albert has his office hours, Albert Bowie, or when Flynn Family Lending or Augustus Bukowski, you guys should make sure to hit one of those, because that's, you know, where the success in investing is actually understanding lending first, frankly. You know, the rest is, you know, if you can master understanding lending and how all that works, it gives you so many more opportunities to be creative in how you buy properties.
That's true.
And that sort of thing. So,
and you mentioned
I
Albert.
know that, you know, I'm sure I don't know who's having in-person ones yet, but I'm sure they're going to be starting soon. You know,
which company is Albert with? You mentioned Albert.
Albert Bowie is with Avenue One Capital.
Okay.
Yeah, they usually post it in the Seattle Investors Club Facebook page about their office hours, and so does Flynn Family Lending. They'll post it. They both just had it this last week. So
okay, I'll sign up.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for the tip. Yeah, it'd be nice to meet some of you guys in person sometimes. So that's
absolutely.
You know,
you'll catch me going to somebody else's though.
Yeah.
So it's just I did that. We did that for years. We actually got up to like several locations that we were doing every week, and I had like a whole crew of people that were helping out. But honestly, it's a way more work than you think to keep that organized. And you know,
yeah, you got to sync up with the venue, and like there's a lot of coordination.
It just it basically burns your whole day for me every time I'm going to do that. And we could do it once a month, but I'm just not motivated enough to do it because I'm too lazy. So
yeah, no problem. Yeah, thanks for the tip though. I'll get in touch with the lending meetups. That's a good idea. So
yeah, Absolutely. And then of course, you know, I think there is some Tacoma. I think they've been having some, if any of you are in Pierce County at, I think Jan and those guys, maybe at the Hive Mind or whatever they, you know, stay on Wari will be posting that stuff. If you're on there, you'll pay attention. If you're not in Wari, jump on there.
Yeah, there's a Tacoma group that meets up once a month, but we kind of stay away from the lenders and the agents.
There you
And
go.
so it's not sponsored by anybody.
Yeah.
Just local investor meetup once a month in Tacoma. So if anybody's close to there.
Well, let us know next time when you're here, Dion. when
Second
it's
Tuesday of
happening.
every month.
Second Tuesday of every month. There you go. Awesome.
I think Jennifer Beatles and the Addicted to ROI group started doing in person, like once a month in Bothell.
Yes. I don't know how she must be coming back to town for that because I think she moved to Arizona.
I think Cody Touche hosts it at his
Got it.
office.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Yep. That'd
And
be a
then
good
there's
one.
the Limitless Expo. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. It looks like a pretty
Yep.
cool event in Phoenix.
Yep. Did you go?
No, it's coming up in June.
Oh.
Tarl Yarber and
Yeah.
Kevin McElroy.
Yep. Yep. I know about that event. We'll probably do some marketing for those guys on that event. But yeah, you guys let us know. I'd be curious if you're going to that. I'm not going, but you guys can fill us in if you go. Sounds good. Is Tarl having his big badass conference this year locally here? Do you guys know? Does anybody know?
I did that 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago, I think I did that.
Well, that was COVID, right? 'Cause
But I
COVID
haven't heard about a new one. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I assumed it was replaced by that other one they're doing.
Yeah, it might be probably replaced by that one. Cool. Sounds like a fun one though. All right, guys, I'm over and out today. Thanks for coming. I'll catch you next time. Peace.
Thanks everyone. Have a good
That's
one.
on the listing.